Let's find out. Week 1, match 6 is about to begin in weekly survival. Here it is. Over to your casters for this week. It's Matt and Cameron.
Thank you, Jorisar, and here we are in a PGC 2021 brought to you by Alienware and To Me. I am Matt, joined by Cam, and you can see we had a pretty south to north plane path, all things considered. Now we're just trying to see if we got any more hot drop action going on, Cam.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking around. It looks like there are a few players, a few different teams in Los Leones, and there seems to be a little bit of traffic there on the north side between Mad and Buriram. But for the most part, I mean, Miramar is big enough. We're not going to see that many hot drops. VP is the team that is all about those hot drops, and as they were saying yesterday, MCG is already taken out of this lobby, having qualified yesterday, so they have the entirety of Power Grid to themselves. You see the first circle.
Buriram coming in looks like they're going to have a little bit of company coming as Team Liquid has a good read onto it, and that's going to be Godmeow already down. Connex getting a little bit of vision on what's going on, but doesn't want to commit too much just quite yet. But on the other side of that, Mexi does. He's just going to come right into it. Jeem's on the other side of it. Good pincer play in between them. Now, Nuadra's all by himself, seeing if maybe he can get it down off it, but instead, he's just drawing attention to himself, and Nuadra's got nowhere to go. He's going to go down as well, and there we go. Buriram eliminated already.
Jeems is scouting that one out ahead of them, but Vex could find an angle and punish this retreat.
Tries to get a couple of shots, but you can see the fact Team Liquid wanting nothing to do with this, instead going to send it through. With the positioning that they should have an idea on a fairly safe route. BBL's Code Marco gets a good line into Non. New Happy, not so happy, already losing one of their members. Another one down to about half life, and they are in a full send, trying to make it into that dip where Mad has a little bit of a position already, trying to see if maybe they can get a foothold into it. That trench just to the west of Power Grid has a lot of teams' eyes right now. See, KPI tries to make the send in position, but it's going to be a good lineup on the other side of this from BP to try to hold it out. Capitan seeing if maybe he can try to get DraftKings back up, but very minimal options. It is going to be a third, fourth, and fifth party fiesta popping off very soon, as all of these teams are going to have fairly good vision. Specifically, the teams that are playing inside the hillsides can really mitigate a lot of the options as we see these teams are trying to make the plays into Power Grid. Everything is kind of calming down a little bit as we're seeing these teams that do have these high ground positions kind of fighting amongst themselves and providing opportunity for the rotating teams.
Interesting play we saw there from Petrichor Road, letting teams get in front of them. They're going to be crushing it from behind, but right now GNL actually pushed up to the north to try and take care of the FaZe Clan issue, and it seems to be very successful for them so far. Just Vex remaining. We've seen some great clutch plays come out of this individual, but GBL also coming into this position. Gonna make Vex's job even harder. That is, if GBL and GNL don't destroy each other in the meantime.
Well, it looks like GBL is going to be the priority over GNL and then fight for near-on-sounding names. Vex tries to go for an opportunity, gets the down onto Spear, looks back up, but he's going to go down. FaZe Clan eliminated as well. That's going to tidy up most of our teams trying to get into position. But down in the south, it's getting a little bit tricksy as we do have 17 caught up into a little bit of a skirmish with BBL still. New circle going to pop in just a few seconds, and that's just going to continue a reign of chaos as these different teams are just still trying to jock for it. And there you go. It is still leaning into that trench west of Power Grid. I just love this read coming out from Danwell. Realize the fact that they had an approach angle to work with. They are aware that somebody's probably in this location. That's why you can see them trying to stay stacked together. KPI, though, on the counter move around it. They did manage to get the res back in a DraftKings, but remember, he was not just a little while ago, so they wanted to play this kind of safe. Capitan, repositioning on the outside, already gets down Salute. Actually, no, that's going to be Rex that takes down Salute with the grenade as Rex goes down from Capitan, and this is falling apart pretty quickly. Soul tries to make something happen, but Danawa, while they did manage to sneak into this position, it was just constantly countered. Coming out from KPI, who jumped out of the compound to make sure that they can keep it secured.
The fact that KPI were able to completely run away from VP without getting taken, without a single member getting taken care of, and then taking on to Danwa is huge for them. But right now on the high ground, Yend has been dealing heavy damage to Team Liquid. There's only Jeems remaining, and once again, here comes GPL to try and deal with the solo EU player. First phase, now Liquid.
Getting a little bit of control up here. I mean, Matt has just been putting in so much work in the control territory. They own most of the west of the circle right now. Team Liquid scattered out. Jeems does look like he managed to find a little bit of a dip to hide in for now. GBL trying to figure out how they want to make this approach. Still outside the safe zone right now. Trying to see if maybe they want to send it into the south instead of the west. They have a little bit of a dip that they can play, but BN still caught up in this a little bit of a skirmish with Navi, but looks like Young me not going to have too much long because that Molotov lands right on top of him, man. Melman, that was a beautiful toss. Got to be careful off this. A couple of the long-range shots coming into play, as it looks like our last couple of teams trying to move in are going to be GBL, as well as Petrichor Road and Na'Vi just to the north of it.
Oh, there it is. Blue takes care of 17.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just compressing around Power Grid right now, and it is a problem for so many of these teams. Just trying to inch their way in their very minimal options to work with. BBL looks like they're just trying to make the push into where New Happy is gone for their play. They opted into the very southern part of this trench. BBL at least gets a little bit of vision of what's happening. Ming has a good read on it, spins back around. Yan also applying a little bit of support into that, and that's just going to deliver vehicles right into New Happy. Give them something to work with. Meanwhile, in the north, we do have a little bit of something that's brewing right now, and that's going to be JBL lined up against Mad, but I don't know. My eye keeps getting drawn back to everything that's going on to Power Grid, as a lot of these teams are dealing with very minimal options left. As you can see, that VP is still trying to encroach up, move slowly and steadily, but it's going to be Petrichor Road that is actually gatekeeping them out right now.
It seems like the fight on the north, as you mentioned, between Ghibli and Mad has just been a fight of insults. They haven't really tried to actually go at each other just yet. But now VIRTUS.PRO, this is where their spread needs to come up clutch. The grenades are coming through. Ming's been taken care of. It's just Eggs left remaining. 5 kills for Petrichor Road. Grenades coming through, trying to stop Na'Vi from getting any closer in. Eggs is found in the kill feed in the meantime, but a lot of damage onto Ghibli Esports. It's only Lambu remaining at it, potentially revivable.
GBL, what are you going to do, man? I mean, you got a rock, a dream, and maybe a couple of grenades, but that's going to be about it. Mad on one side of it, just going to continue to harass, and it's just such clean sight lines. There's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah, they're completely taken out by Mad. The fight eventually broke out, but here, VIRTUS.PRO and KPI, they've been being a force to reckon with from the top floor of that building. But now VIRTUS.PRO right on their doorstep. They're gonna have to work on holding down that angle. There's still a lot of teams leaving Power Grid.
And so many potential kill points for Mad based off of this positioning right now. I mean, the chaos is due any second. The blue zone's right on top of KPI. They have to move. They're right next to VP as well. You can see Na'Vi has nowhere that they can really go. It's just a matter of time before they just get spotted out. In's got the vision onto it, and there we go. Now it's got to be about what's going on in the remnants of Power Grid as KPI trying to creep forward, VP just to the south of them, and really just a chain link fence separating them out.
Yeah, and don't forget about Jeems. If this fight breaks out, if one team wins with just like a string of health remaining, Jeems could easily make sure that neither of these teams get out of Power Grid alive. But the smokes are already coming into play because that wall, no one really wants to jump over it. They want to get into the circle. They want to run away from the blue. The problem is that's going to give Mad and even New Happy an opportunity to deal some third-party extra damage. But Emmy goes down. But Chilin with the first knock here. Is Drafting going to be able to try and counter out? He's actually expecting a rotate around the blue. But that didn't come. So he's going to go for the revive. But Chilin, another angle.
Tons. He's just putting in work from that angle. They have to expect it at this stage. But is it just because Mad's here and forcing them to play on the other side? This KPI has nowhere that they can go. They've been sandwiched in a beautiful toss. Gonna connect and take him down. A little bit of a kill still coming out from Mad, but already at 9 kills. These guys are feasting right now.
Still in the smoke. Ian takes a lot of damage. Mad and VIRTUS.PRO, the only 2 teams remaining with 4 members up, but VIRTUS.PRO running directly into New Home. And Perfectus is taken out. Spyro, you can tell, was not expecting a team to be behind this concrete block. Already pre-firing the peak, but he's going to get dropped as well. So now VIRTUS.PRO down to 2. This puts the advantage heavily in Mad's favor.
New Happy just clinging to the little bit of cover that they had. VP was wanting to try to move into that position.
Deva here, he's been on the flank this entire time, making sure that no one else can try and wrest map control away from them. The grenades are coming out. Dynamite fishing. Won't find a prize fish just yet, but there it is. This is what you're talking about. Deva's been removed. And now Mad Clan, they have to make a decision now. Do you want to focus on New Happy or focus on VIRTUS.PRO? Because this pincer between the 2 duos might just be happening, but a very good grenade from Lash.
Those are so beautifully put out, and VIRTUS.PRO realizes this is their opportunity. They hear the firefight that's going on, think they can line into it. Beautiful position coming up from Lou. The Tulans counteractively. Mad is already down. Good plays coming out from them, and so now they can look back the other direction. Ming's going to be bleeding out, and it is just one left for New Happy VP. They fought tooth and nail for Power Grid time and time again, not afraid of hot drops and consistently performing. Now they've got 2 members into 1 and a little bit of a reposition. Both teams very close to the center, but it looks like it's going to be all about trying to crest this hillside. Minimal options to work with. VP even has some cover. See if they can line up the nade. If he can drop it right on top of him, and it could absolutely destroy him. Bounce is going to go too far away, and no! It's going to be VP that finds the angle and gets the win.
Didn't even take that many games. They do it on the first.
Respect my mind, no die from last shot. I pray my dick get big as the Apple time, so I can fuck the world for 72 hours.